Hey everybody, to another series today here on Khaldor TV. I have a bit of a treat for you. The ESL Majors is probably the most prestigious league that we have in Heroes of the Storm right now. And on Khaldor TV, in the future, you are going to see every single best-of-3 series that we are playing in that league. At least every single one that I'm casting. I'm casting the tournament or the league together with Khaldor, who you might know from his StarCraft 2 casts. And today we're going to have the best-of-3 match between Planetkey Dynamics and Met on the first playday of the ESL Majors. So enjoy this best-of-3 match. I hope you like it. There's a lot more to come in the future. Sky Temple is the first map, and we're having to the left side of the map PkD starting with Individuum on Vala, Antihero playing Tacita in this game. We have BKB on Arthurs, Neps on Uther, and Fury on Falstad. Whereas to the right side, it is well met with Nomi on Murden, Hazobs on Reyna, Gedamherd on Sergeant Hammer, Hiruka playing Brightwing, and Shadowmar subbing in for Soccer on Tyrande.
Alright, well, here we go. Sky Temple, as we've seen the splits go off here. Antihero, Nebsy, as well as Invidium, going to head up top and even just push on towards that watchtower. Stitches isn't here, so both teams have an opportune chance to rival this little position for vision.
Yeah, and Met actually gaining the watchtower so far. It's a very important watchtower to take since you get a lot of vision of the top lane. Both of the heroes that we talked about at the beginning of the draft today are already at the bottom lane. We have Falstad and Brightwing here because they can later on just jump up to the top to contest one of those temples.
Yeah, it's always nice to have that a bit more of a global presence, as we've been mentioning before. Brightwing very, very strong in that regard compared to Falstad, but of course Falstad is quite quick himself, as they are challenging for this vision again, and not too much is going to become of that though. Shadowmare pushes Mr. Uther away.
It's a very, very important watchtower that you have there. You see part of the middle temple, you see a lot of the upper lane, and also the rotations from the top down to the bottom are usually quite visible there. So that vision is extremely important to the teams, and that's why you see them fighting for it like this.
Yeah, it's nice to have Antihero up here, though, on Tacita, so that even if they don't have the vision on the watchtower, he can still at least use Oracle to see where they are. I mean, he just spotted Nomi there in the bush right behind them, so Oracle, very, very useful in this top lane when the vision is so highly contested.
Yeah, another 10 seconds until we are finally starting things off with the first temples here. The builds that we see so far are fairly standard. The one thing that we can maybe point out is that Vala is not going for a right-click build, which we've seen a couple of times by other teams. I think Vito or Bakers played it the last time with an arrow build at the beginning of the match, but we have multi-shot here taken first. Oh, down in the mid lane, BKB getting sniped. Arthurs is down, Shadowmar and Hazobs rotating in, taking him on. He was trying to get up the experience here, and now it's an even split on the temples, at least so far, but the original kill goes to Met.
Yeah, it's a nice little pickup. At the same time, though, 2 temples being activated at the moment means that each team is just going to take one and not have too much of a trade go off. Shadowmare's poking up at the top temple, but can't really do a whole lot. But here comes Gedamherd to try and push them off of this location, but now with BKB able to reinforce, this top temple is still going to stay in the favor of them.
Yeah, so far I have to say that Met is doing a very good job at soaking the lanes while they're still contesting the temples here. We have level 5 for both of the teams now, with a significant experience lead already for Met. And if you look at the build so far, the one thing that we could point out is that, of course, on Falstad we don't have Bribe taken on level 1, which was the normal build to take in the last patch. But now, since we had that change to the Hammerang, you have that additional range on the first talent, which is just absolutely amazing if you want to do some damage from a safe distance.
Yeah, those temples have taken down the walls for the moment. It's going to make mid as well as top a little bit difficult for both of these teams on either side, respectively. As Hasu's holding on strong against Arthas in mid as well. That kill on Arthas at the beginning was very, very nice. It really did give them that little extra boost in terms of their experience. So, Met not doing too bad at the moment.
Yeah, and we are currently seeing Met also grabbing the Siege Giants to the right side. They have Brightwing with Bribe, so they could use that later to take Siege Giants to the left side. I don't think he has enough stacks yet. We have BKB in the middle still up against Hazobs, who went for Searing attacks on level 7, which is the standard build that you see on Reyna. You go for Give Me More on level 1, for the advanced optics, then on 4 for the extra distance, and then Searing attacks. A lot of right-click damage on this hero. And at the same time, we have only 1 cleanse in this game now, and that's on Uther, not on Brightwing, who instead went for the Gust of Healing. Nice
start, though, as I was saying, by Met. Actually able to just bribe the easy camp down here as well, so basically just taking that away from Planetkey Dynamics is the good strength of it. And also having to deal with it is kind of annoying as well. It does buy themselves a little bit of time to be in their lanes and get that soaking over what we're seeing there from Planetkey Dynamics.
Interesting is also now that we see Falset by now rotating to the top to do it exactly what we mentioned at the beginning of the game. He's trying to soak the lanes as much as he can, and the next temple is going to spawn at the bot lane, so he is going to fly in if Brightwing moves. Like, that's of course one of those things that you're always going to pay attention to. Is Brightwing still on the lane? Can I stay here maybe a bit longer? How is the fight developing at the bot lane? And that's what will make the decision for Fury.
And this is where it all gets sticky, as one temple activates down to the south. There's level 9 at the moment here for Wellmet. If they're able to get some experience whilst this temple is trying to be held here for Planetkey Dynamics, maybe they could come in with level 10 and maybe do some damage with some of their heroic abilities. As Brightwing's still staying up top, not coming down just yet, but obviously can get down there in an instant.
And they're moving in right now. Hammer was a bit slow to just like come down to the bot lane. Now Brightwing is jumping in. It's a 5 versus 5. They're already in position, but look at those experience bars here. Level 10 could pop any second for the team. That would be a huge one, but a lot of the shots are already gone, and Individuum is being attacked here.
Yeah, he actually took a lot of damage to start things off. As with Anti-Hero, some of that damage was coming through on both of them during it, so a little bit of cleave pushing forwards. Also, Wellmet quite healthy still here. Nomi actually gets caught at the front, so he's going to take quite a bit of damage thanks to that Howling Blast locking him down. And here comes extra damage. The Wellmet have actually been able to take their heroic abilities, going for the fight at the same time with those, and they do so much damage in all of that, able to take away the temple as well.
Yeah, suddenly the temple becomes a death threat. Neps is in the corner, needs to run away there, but gets taken out as well. It's a complete team wipe as Wellmet takes down PkD and suddenly is nearly 2 levels ahead. Very well done here by Wellmet. And once those level 10 talents came into play, the temple just became a complete death trap and all of them died.
Yep, that's why you have to rush to 10, man. You really need to get there very quickly. Look at the lead now. 12 against 10 after that team wipe and the damage that they were able to do. Also controlling the lane, so a very good start from Wellmet. And Planetkey Dynamics are going to have to struggle back here. Try and find some experience in all of these lanes and push on forwards.
Yeah, it's really tricky for them at this point, because level 13 is going to hit very soon. Now they are fighting at least on even talents, but of course that 2-level lead is a big issue, especially since we're now just Wellmet having them placing heroes on lanes for the experience. We are currently looking at Napalm, Reyna's Raiders, Avatar, Emerald Wind and Starfall, which we've seen in the last fight already. For Vala, by the way, we have on the side of PkD Strafe taken, or not Strafe not taken, we have Reign of Vengeance taken over Strafe here. And they are already both looking at the boss, but with the 13 talent coming into play any second, it's tricky for PkD. They're trying to get a kill before that. Shadowmire is really low, just barely gets away. Sped up by Brightwing here, but for now they force them away and take the Siege Giants.
Oh, the Hinterland's Blast tries to come in on Shadowmare to finish him off. He actually was able to avoid the Reign of Vengeance in that fight, so barely got away.
I mean, if when Falsa like used his old Tyrande was first of all shocked and then a little bit awed, but she got away after all.
Dude, I loved the name Shock and Awe. It was beautiful. It was
beautiful. Me too. It was really nice. The Hinterland Blast, I will have to get used to that.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me just yet, but eventually. Well, temples have activated, one to the north, one to the south, as this will divide things up quite heavily. But again, still a 2-level lead here for Wellmet, who can take a fight so strongly at bottom. The majority of the presence for Planetkey Dynamics was at the bottom as well, so they can start activating this bottom one, and maybe a few charges will be left at the top one when they eventually try and go for that. And they're even at the bottom one, so they can go for boss.
Yeah, they're going for the boss now, and at the same time they're also soaking a lot of experience. They're level 13 talent, so it's very difficult for PkD to contest that now. We have double rewind taken, once on Muradin and once on Brightwing, so that gives them a lot of stuns and disables here. Also, of course, Tyrande always coming into play with her own stun. There's already Nomi trying to zone the opponent, and a great Starfall to make them, to just put them in a position where they can take the boss, and they took it already.
100%, that was really good zoning. I mean, even just the pull of the boss over to the right-hand side, away from the side of the map from Planetkey Dynamics, was really nicely done. And during all of that, it forced them to leave top temple, so there's still charges left up there, whilst we're seeing Wellmet actually take some of the charges of the bottom temple. So, very cool play out of Wellmet, I gotta say. Very cool.
What we are seeing, of course, now with level 13 hitting for PkD is not only the talent for good old Falstad, which has the crippling hammer. It's still like one of the newer things I want to say, that you take now in level 13, since you don't have access to rewind anymore, that you go for the slow instead, which is absolutely great, especially if you can chase down targets, but they haven't been in that position yet. Frost Shot is also awesome for Vala, not only to just like stop an onslaught, but also to clean up after a fight. With Uther having sprint available now, that's of course where a lot of the danger from PkD's setup is going to come. He might be able to initiate it in the next battle and maybe give them a lead, especially in one of those temple fights. But you're perfectly right, Calaris. They need to have a good fight right now. They need something to just bring them a bit closer in experience, and preferably before level 16 hits.
Wow, Wellmet jumping straight into Hardcamp, looking to steal it, get the steal. They're able to get in there so fast with a leap forwards from Muradin. He even picks up a kill on Falstad. So very nicely played. So this is really causing them a lot of problems. The 14-15 transition, in terms of levels, Planetkey Dynamics really needed that hard camp, but the steal away from Wellmet was beautiful.
And now it's 16 on the board. The talents are there. We have Muradin nearly unkillable right now with the Storm trait that he has. He's going for the Stone form here. We have also hovering mode for Siege Tank. Gadamherd is using that already, just moving in here. Really difficult to now get a handle on what Wellmet is doing here. PkD is just desperately trying to somehow to defend, and they're not finding an opening. They don't find anything, and tacking into the tank is going to be so difficult for them.
Yeah, they haven't really had an opportunity to focus down on anyone here from the Wellmet side. They've stayed as a unit, stayed composed, and really played out these team fights very well, because they've been ahead in every single one of the team fights at the very beginning, but there's a little bit of a slow. Howling Blast will start here. Here comes the Hinterland Blast, but it doesn't even kill Haruke, who manages to get out during all of that.
Haruke moving back. Bikibino suddenly in trouble, also slowed down by the Starfall, and immediately Nomi's jumping in, trying to go for another Stormwall. Doesn't hit a Dimensional Shift by anti-hero used. They get away here for now, but of course Uther already dying earlier, and now it's time for the first keep to fall.
Oh, the sustain and the addition of that level 16 talent really played out so well there for Wellmet. And now we're seeing them still one man down. They're going to have to wait another 10 seconds for their final member to respawn, and the temples have activated again. So unless you can really find some good stability later on in this game, with the hard camp going to be taken at top, I mean, you might get one temple here as PkD, but not more than that.
They need to make sure that they get level 16 now. They have another 10 seconds before those temples open. If they get like 1 or 2 waves, they might be able to just grab that, and I think they will. But still, that is like the best chance for them now to actually come back into that game. It's only a level difference after they hit 16, and they won't get a better shot of actually taking down those players on Wellmet's side than that. If 20 hits for Wellmet, then it's lights out. But, well, the game's not over until the Fat Lady sings, and at this point, PkD still has a chance.
Yeah, at least they got that 16 now. So Blood for Blood coming in for Vala. Just try and keep her alive a little bit longer in some of these fights where they haven't had an opportunity, once again, to really focus down on someone. And when they have, the sustain from Wellmet has come out very strongly. Sends an hour forward, sees the positioning of their opponents, and for now, they're just going to play this one out a little slow.
And let's also just keep in mind that Falstad, of course, is one of those heroes that with level 16 gets access to Overdrive, and that just increases his burst damage rapidly. So with that, he might be able to drop one of those targets. Once again, of course, we're looking at Tyrande here with the lowest hit point pool of them all, and maybe Falstad can make the change here. Right now it's 18 versus 16, 17 soon to hit, but a very passive position for PkD. They lost the second keep, and that puts them even under more pressure than before.
Yeah, those kind of minions are really going to cause a lot of problems. You're right. But at the same time, Shadowmare is doing a really good job of actually being able to hit these owls constantly, just doing small chunks of damage here and there. Well, it's not even that small chunk of a damage. It's pretty impressive when it all starts to add up. So right now, there's no rebuttal. There's not too much that PkD can do. They're going to be stuck in their walls for a while. I
mean, you can see how this game went by just like pointing out that Tyrande has more damage than Vala so far, but Vala is moving in once again. Oh, Uther is down again. Nebs are taken out here. Haruke using the Emerald Wind. Once again, here comes also the Rain of Vengeance, but that's not doing too much, but just covering the retreat here. And with a 5 versus 4, PkD is once again in trouble. Nomi is still at the front, just jumps back as he receives too much damage, but all the way in the back there's still Gadamherd on the Sergeant Hammer zoning them out.
Yeah, they've had a sad time, really, getting their focus down. You were right with the Haruki actually being focused down. The Emerald Wind was able to save him. Then all of the focus was on Nomi as they were pushing towards the wall, and then he just jumps back out. PkD haven't got on top of the super squishy targets that they really want to. They don't have much opportunity to at this point.
Yeah, and it was just like really well played so far. The problem that you always have if you're BKB in this situation is that you move too far in and suddenly you get into a stun lock with Polymorph, with a stun that comes out of Nomi, with the rewind now of course as well. Tyranda's chipping into that, Hunter's Mark is dropping your HP like nothing. If especially Reyna then focus fires and right clicks, uses his Searing attack here, who by the way did not pick up Berserk on level 16 but went into Bullseye, which is another very good alternative that you have on level 16 for Reyna, and adds even more stun to the combination that they're running.
Yeah, you're completely right. Relentless is good on Arthas, but when there's so much constantly hitting you and powering out at the front, then it's not going to matter. You do get in a lot of trouble, but now it's time for only one temple, and contesting this, I mean, they're not down in terms of talents, but they have to contest this. They've lost all of their keeps.
Oh yeah. But it's good that you point that Relentless out. That's exactly why he took that talent, because there is so much CC, but of course the sheer amount of it is absolutely insane here. Now the temple fight is already on and they are in position. PkD is in position, but look at how fast he drops here. This is crazy, just barely keeps himself alive and now drops. Arthas is down, Uther is down, and oh my god, it's hunting season. It looks like they might even lose anti-hero here if he isn't careful.
There was a cleave from the defender that knocked BKB towards Well Met there, and he got himself in a really terrible spot, unfortunately, and instantly fell down, as you were mentioning. Wow, so Well Met now with the temple, going to do tons and tons of damage here to the core. And PkD have no response, no rebuttal, and once, I mean, level 20 is about to come in, so yeah, this is going to unleash fury.
Yeah, this is really bad right now. Level 20 comes into play and all of the keeps are already gone. The temple is still shooting and this is going to be a game, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 on Sky Temple ends in favor of Well Met, playing here in the best of 3 against PkD. Game number 1 over in the best of 3 series, and this is of course only the start. Sky Temple snowballed completely out of the control of Planetkey Dynamics after Well Met hit level 10 and destroyed them there. We're going into game number 2 right now on Cursed Hollow. I'm gonna try and find out if Planetkey Dynamics can turn things around or if Well Met closes out the series with a 2-0. Game number 2, Cursed Hollow, in the match between PkD and Well Met. Currently Well Met being up 1 game in the best of 3 series. And we are seeing to the left side PkD, Planetkey Dynamics with BKB on Tyrael, Neps on Brightwing, Fury on Vala, Individuum on Tychus, Antihero on Arthas. And to the right side, in red, of course, their opponent. It is Nomi for Well Met on Murden. Hazobs is playing Reyna in this game. Gedam Herd plays Sergeant Hammer, and Hiruke Uther as the sub for Well Met today. Shadowmar for Zoke is playing Thrall. I'm Khaldor, and with me is Killarius, and we're going to bring you game number 2 in this best of 3 series.
Alright, let's get into things then, as Tyrael's going to head towards the mid here. And as much as Well Met in game number 1 had some really, really good team fights, and they didn't allow Planetkey Dynamics to have really good focus on the squishy targets at the very back, I think with Tyrael in this lineup, they might have a bit of a better time with that. So I'm hoping for a 1-1 going into a third game.
Yeah, the problem that Tyrael, of course, has that he needs to really make sure that everything that he does is very well coordinated with his team, especially when we're talking about the judgment. If he uses that at the wrong time, he's suddenly surrounded by 2 heroes that can stun him out and another one with insane burst damage. So he needs his team to join up immediately or he's going to have a huge problem.
Yeah, I like the splits as well from both teams here. I mean, Arthas at the top against 3, if he ever got in trouble, using Howling Blast and his just general, good health here, should be okay. But there's a little bit of stun potential there from Uther, as they're already going to bring down a tower very quickly, and that's the power of Sergeant Hammer this early on.
Yeah, that's a split where I feel PkD will have to react to it, because up at the top, as you already pointed out, Gedam Herd is in position with the hammer. He's already guarded by Uther and Reyna, and we have the tri-lane at the bottom for PkD, and they're also doing quite a lot of damage to those structures, taking down the first tower here, but I feel in the long run they will have to react because that hammer is going to wreck the top lane.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. Another tower is going to fall, and if you look at how fast the towers are falling, you're right. It is in Well-Met's favor, and that can be a big deal leading on later, because they are ahead of in terms of experience, just by a little fraction. But as the 10 levels go forwards, that could go very nicely here for Well-Met. So if they hit 10 first when on the map like this, those tribute fights are going to get a whole lot messier for PkD.
PkD playing it naughty here. They're going for... Oh, actually kill at the bot lane. Apparently Thrall, Shadowma.
I got it, man.
Position there. Nice. But yeah, as I was saying, like, a bit of a naughty play there by PkD. They're going for the double Envenom. Brightwing with the Envenom instead of the protective shield.
Ooh.
That's a pretty cool talent to take there. You don't see it all that often. It's been experimented with, but usually you really need that protective shield to keep heroes alive. In this case, they're relying on the Tyrael shield in the fight.
It's a good point that you bring up, though, because it might catch Well-Met a little bit off guard if they go into a fight earlier on, especially if this tribute becomes of high importance. Envenom this early on adds a lot of extra damage, so having 2 in your arsenal, very cool.
I think it already did. Like, when Thrall died, was Envenom used?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I think it may have been.
Yeah,
I caught the end of it, so, okay. Yeah.
Because if it was, I'm not quite sure if the level 4 hit at that point already, but I think it did, then Shadowma might have not expected it, and that might be the reason why he died here.
Well, the first tribute going over to Well-Met, as a little bit of counterplay going on at the bottom, pushing Thrall away again. They're really being able to lock him down very, very nicely, but it is hard to do anything in a 1v3 situation, although there is a rotation mid. Tyrael has to be careful here.
Yeah, Tyrael already in a spot where he could be pushed back. Adamhead is moving behind him, pushes him in, but well played here by BKB. Very well done. He already saw that coming, realized that the heroes were not at the top lane anymore, so there was only one thing. Fort down at the bottom lane after the fort at the top already got destroyed earlier. The 7 talents now for both teams with a cleanse on Uther. We're having on Thrall actually battle momentum chosen, so he's not going to go for a more sustainable build. He's going for the standard build with a lot of burst damage. And yeah, we also have for 2 heroes on the lineup for PkD. The battle momentum talent on Tyrael and on Vala.
Yep, it's going to be able to activate those talents a little, those abilities a little bit quicker. Here's the second tribute, though, now down to the bottom. We're already seeing Planetkey Dynamics moving into position to try and rival this. A little bit hidden in the bushes up to the top. Maybe if they can get a crossover on some of these Well-Met players, they could catch a kill. Hiruka actually moving very, very close to them in one of those bushes. Takes quite a bit of damage, but don't think they're going to be able to pick him up. It was very close. All of the Envenom at the end, but yeah, no cigar. The tribute has been picked up by Well-Met during all of that.
Yeah, so they don't get the kill, they don't get the tribute. They have a slight lead in experience, but probably not for long. So far, things have been going quite well for Well-Met, I would say, even though they lost that one hero earlier.
Yeah, Well-Met doing okay. Just seeing them clean up the easy camp at the bottom, trying to push that away. So, as it stands now, they're going to have to try and rival this third tribute. They should be able to get 10 a little bit quicker, but I mean, that's exactly what Well-Met are doing right now. They're trying to just spread themselves out, catch up in terms of that experience. And middle is being soaked, whilst we're not seeing it for Planetkey just yet.
Yeah, the big problem is definitely that the next 3 tributes are tributes where Planetkey Dynamics, they have to fight. They have no other choice. They have to fight unless they are okay with getting cursed. And that, of course, allows Well-Met right now quite a lot of like freedom there on the map. They can say like, well, next tribute, you can rotate towards that. We're just going to soak the experience and try to fight then with 10 versus 10. We're going to take that later. Maybe we're just going to use the time to go to one of the bosses. So they have options here, and that's something that Planetkey Dynamics gave up to a certain extent.
Yeah, they're already sitting around on this tribute. There's level 10, though, here for Well-Met, who aren't really looking for the fight on that tribute. So they're going to give this one up, look for something else, and even going for boss, starting that very, very fast here.
Yeah, both of the teams are going to go for that now. At the bottom lane, we have PkD in position to take the first boss. Up at the top, there's already Thrall and Hazobs busy taking on the second boss. The heroic abilities have been taken. No surprises here. We have Sundering Chosen, Napalm, Divine Hurricane, Rainer's Raiders, the Avatar on the side of Well-Met. If we're looking on the side of PkD, it's Rain of Vengeance for Vala, not running with Strafe here for the second time in a row now. We have Commandeer Odin, it's the Army of the Dead for Arthur's, Emerald Wind instead of the Blink Heal for Brightwing, and of course, what else? Judgment on Tyrael.
Yep. So we're going to be able to close some gaps if a fight breaks out, but at least now, after that third tribute had been claimed, there is some room for them to now actually fight against that. Again, you know, the 10 was a little bit delayed there for Wellmet, but it's not the biggest of deals here. It's all about this. Bosses now pushing down some of these walls, and they will be able to get this wall at the south, will PkD, or a little bit of it at least.
They were actually trying to scare the opponent here, with 4 heroes pushing in together with the boss, and now Nomi is there too, but Head was in position behind the wall. On his tank is now moving just slightly back, since the wall is gone, doesn't really want Tyrell to jump him with Judgment. To the top left, of course, we see the very much same thing with the boss taking down the wall here, but thanks to the 2 towers, shouldn't be able to do too much damage. The Tribute is spawning, and this is the one that they have to fight for now. Yep.
Oh, an anti-hero already gets caught a little bit off guard, losing some health, and unfortunately, they were a little bit slow on that reaction. I think they may have even just given up the idea of that. They were very far out of position.
It was just very unlucky for them that it spawned at the top where they were all at the bottom right, so that was a huge distance that they had to cross there. Suddenly they're moving in with the Sun on BKB. He moves back just in time. A good grenade, zoning Head out. It's a really nice talent to have, by the way, on Tychus when you're up against the tank, that you can always just like push him out a bit more and just barely get him out of position and out of range of those structures if you use the grenade at the right time.
Alright, so they were very, very keen about getting Tyrael there, throwing it in those stuns over the wall and then finally managing to break it down, getting on top of him with that Divine Storm. But they are doing quite a bit of damage here, but it's going to be slow and patient as there are already 3 players here from Planetkey Dynamics. Anti-Hero going to join them. Brightwing can join at any time as well. The sword's laid down. Gotta be careful.
Double Relentless now also being used on Tychus and on Arthas. You never want to get locked down, especially not by that Thrall that is going to try and move in. And here comes the Howling Blast. Anti-Hero is looking for the initiation. They don't really fight for that just yet. So far they have been buying a lot of time, and they still have the Brightwing at the top left for the split XP. BKB jumping in, needs to be careful. Sundering already being used. Judgment immediately is the counter. Head is extremely low and goes down.
Oh wow, big damage being done. Wellmet losing a few more members. Nepsy's trying to keep alive against Nomi as Tyrael comes in and does not able to save him at the end, but gets the kill on Muradin anyway. Shadowmare, the last man alive. Frostwolf's resilience really keeping him solid and gets him behind that wall. But yeah, the push from Tyrael to get Gerdheim Herd in a bad situation was really a game changer there at the very beginning of that fight.
Very well positioned here, great movements in that fight, and suddenly Shadowmare is in a bit of trouble as well. And it was just like the perfect timing. You have the curse against you, and they were able to turn that around. They actually gained experience during the curse just to having Brightwing to the top left. He jumped in at just the right time, got his skills off, died in the attempt then, but it was a great trade, a 1 versus 4. You're going to take that any day.
Yeah, and not only that, but they somehow managed to save their outer middle fort and get the fort in trade, which is pretty impressive. I mean, it's at 94 health and it will die from just the blow of a small breeze, but other than that, it was kind of impressive.
Yeah, and well, now we have the rest of the team just like manning it up again, welling up. Nepsis taking with a Bright the 2 Siege Giants up at the top, and for them level 16 is just around the corner, and that's going to give them a huge lead for the next 2 levels. So PkD is in an amazing position right now. Arthur's super tanky thanks to the Stone Skin. We're having Vala now running this with Executioner, which is an amazing talent. If you are running with an Arthur's, it's just like that extra 40% damage that you don't have to go up upon. And of course, for Tyrael now a great option to go blood for blood, since he needs to try and stay alive when he initiates in with Judgment.
Yeah, even the Stone Skin taken on Tychus too, just so that, I mean, once he's actually into Odin and doing the damage, they really want to be eliminating that threat quickly in team fights, but when he is that tanky himself, jeez, it's hard to deal with.
Yeah. And of course for Wellmet, they are just like trying to get their experience now. They have Nomi up at the top lane, and they have still a lot of structures. It's that bottom lane that was threatened earlier by the boss, but up at the top they still have that fort. They should be fine getting the experience for level 16, but they have to give up on the tribute that is currently spawning on the map. Can't contest that, taking it now, and they are just going to wait for the next talent before they look for another fight.
Yeah, Muradin set up at top. It's going to take him a little while to actually get back and get into the fight, so it's kind of difficult for him. Of course, he does want the experience, as you were mentioning before, but pretty far out. It's going to require a base. They're actually repositioning themselves, though, going to mid, and I like that a little better. It allows Muradin the potential to get into a team fight quicker if one were to break out.
And of course now the bosses are on the map again, and that is a chance to take one of those. And so far PkD, they haven't really shown themselves, and that's why Wilmette is currently assuming that the boss at the bottom of the map is being taken. But they're trying to rotate to the top, right wing at the bot lane, going for maybe split experience. We have Individuum trailing behind a bit, but they're coming just in time. That boss isn't done. BKB is jumping in, initiates up against Shadowmar. Ultimates have already been used by Wilmette. They're jumping in. Nomi saves himself the last second. And now Wilmette needs to move away for now, but Tyrael is already down.
Yeah, the boss was actually able to do a lot of damage to Tyrael during all of that, but Odin's still there, could do quite a bit of damage here. Nomi has to get out. Very, very low. A little bit of a heal from Haruke to keep him up, and good job, boss, for killing Tyrael, I guess.
Yeah, and that missed jump that we saw by Nomi, he was trying to jump over that house there, and then just like Muradin hobbled a little bit. Was actually quite funny. Sundering not getting Individual and was trying to get him off the wolf. So doesn't get that, but yeah, Nomi survived in the end, so it was all good, but that looked quite funny for a second.
Oh, they're going to take boss and give up a tribute down here, so that's going to be basically boss for curse. Do you think that they could have... Was that the right option here for Wilmette?
I think it was a good choice. They were already up here. They realized it would take them quite some time to go down to the bot. They still have that boss pushing, so there's going to be some counter pressure on the top. The lane where they have to be careful is the bot lane, and that's where they really have to move back to. And they were also able to just like come to the bot lane just in time to make sure that there's no boss being taken. But one of them will have to move back and try and defend that keep. If they don't defend keep, then they are going to lose it, and if they start defending it, then they are, of course, opening up the boss for the opponent. But again, the judgment, and Gadamet is so low, and it erased immediately out of the game.
Very well done there to jump on him, get a lot of damage done out, and get that away. Nomi also on the retreat in the wrong direction, but because there's no other real direction to go, has been spotted, and is going to have to start jumping over walls to get away. But a tough time, because Tyrael's on his tracks, but yeah, mounts up and gets out of there.
Yeah, well done. Gets actually away there. That was pretty cool. I was afraid that he might not be able to get away when he was split up from the rest of the team, but well done by him. 6 kills versus 2 so far in the game. Level 18 versus level 17. And of course, bottom boss now taken by PkD. Planetkey Dynamics will have that pushing in, and as you can see, the bot lane is already done for. That keep is down.
I'm going to take easy camp down here and try and take hard camp up to the north to rival the small couple of camps that we're seeing already coming out from Planetkey Dynamics. They've done well to put themselves in a leading position in this game, and now pushing towards the bot. It's all been seen by the Watchtower, so Wilmette can try and react to this position whilst boss is pushing on.
And apparently PkD, they are trying to push with the boss here. It's a ballsy move. A lot of teams would have tried to just like soak lanes and capture the fort at the top lane to get the experience. And yeah, they're moving back.
Yeah.
I like that a lot more. That would have been... don't get me wrong, they can finish it with the boss. But I feel it's risky if you're playing on the same talent. You don't have to if you're an entire level ahead. You can just like push the wall in the middle, go to the top, kill the fort, get the experience, work towards the level 20, and then run with the additional talent.
Yeah, the fortified position of that, and just it's hard to jump on Sergeant Hammer whilst you're also trying to do damage to core, etc. In such a situation like that. But look at them camping at the bottom, waiting for the opportunity where Wilmette are going to step out of line. This is a very cool little move here by Planetkey Dynamics.
Yeah, they are currently in the party bush here and just waiting for somebody to appear, and that might be Nomi. Azobs, they have vision on them, so they could use that, but so far they are moving still as 5, so not really a chance to do that. Nomi is moving in. Oh, and they see him. There comes the judgment. Oh, and they save him for now. He uses his passive. Nice, the stone form used. Napalm doing so much damage to PkD, and Hiruka just sprinting away in the last second, but Hazobs is split off.
Oh my god, how were they able to manage to save him there? He took so much damage, but somehow Muradin got out. Unbelievable. And well, just the one kill off the back of that, I mean, as cool as it was from Planetkey Dynamics, somehow, some way, Wilmette managed to not completely die off.
There's again that problem that you see with Reyna, by the way. No wall, no barrel roll, nothing to get away. Gadam here, at least on the hammer, has his thrusters that he can activate. That is, of course, that one downside that you have when you're playing Arena. But yeah, the Muradin is just like so tanky, and he activated his stone form and then got his hit points back. It was very well done, but of course with a 5 versus 4, PkD just moves in now, takes that second keep. And yeah, Muradin all the way up at the top, by the way. He could move in and take one keep down. Of course, that first talent that he has, or actually it is the second talent on him, helps him with damage against structures. And he used that to at least annihilate one of the keeps that we're seeing from PkD.
Yeah, some easy experience there for them to pick up. Of course, Muradin out of the fight there and not necessarily able to help their keeps, but I think they felt at that point they were always going to be losing that inner middle keep at least. But oh well, the game is going to continue on. They weren't even able to get that trip either, as continuously PkD moving as a 5 and making it very difficult for the Well-Met to engage because they are at 20 at the moment.
I really like that choice, though. As he said, they probably realized that they would lose that either way, so they just saw an opportunity for Muradin to move in, and with that extra damage against structures on the level 4 talent, he just said, like, guys, with level 1 talent, you gather up extra damage on the hammer, and then with level 4, you get 400% extra damage to minions and structures. So with that, you can do thousands of damage in a situation like this. Nice wolf there by Shadowmar.
Yeah,
revealing that trap. They fell for it once, they won't fall for it twice.
No, that was well played by Shadowmar. I like that a lot. But for now, they're going to have to defend top religiously. This is their one bastion of hope, or one keep of hope, if you want to go for that as well. Another trap attempted to be set up here for them, realizing that the boss is up at this position. Maybe Well-Met will try and go for it, but there's an opportunity for them to jump on, and they decided to just take it themselves because they see him in mid.
Yeah, they're moving for the boss now, and apparently Well-Met is fine dealing with it. They're not even trying to contest that. We have Muradin walking down to the bot lane. I'm not quite sure what he's going to do over here. Apparently he wants to take down the fort, at least it looks like he wants to. But yeah, he will have to be back. Takes down, actually, tries to take the catapults down to take away from the push against the bot lane.
Yeah, it makes sense in the end, but Planetkey Dynamics got very, very lucky there with the trib spawn right next to the boss as well, so don't even have to traverse the map too much to pick that up. They get hard camp too. And now this is under threat. We've already seen a lot of mines being laid down here by Sergeant Hammer to try and slow this as much as possible, but that's a lot of damage coming out.
Yeah, split push. Muradin took one of the towers down and opened the way for the Siege Giants, but now he has to defend with the rest of the team. Level 20 not on the board for Well-Met just yet, and here comes Planetkey Dynamics trying to take down the third keep.
Yeah, the boss is already doing quite a bit here against this. They don't even need to give ample support fire to take that down for the most part by the looks of things. I mean, they're both dying at similar speeds, but even if it went very low, and it is actually going to go very low and survive for now, they just go and take the other boss on the other side of the map, and there's not much that Well-Met can do. They're isolated in their base because these two lanes are pushing so hard.
Yeah, the bot lane is also pushing further in. They're trying to take down that fort, but of course, to level 20 is just around the corner for Well-Met. There it is. Are they going to be in time to contest boss? I don't think so, but they're going to grab the tribute, or at least going to try. We have double Bolt of the Storm now. One on... this is great for Reyna, finally picking that Bolt of the Storm talent up, so they can do something with that. And the Napalm is going to be amazing at talent too, but Shadowmar is way out of position. They're jumping in, but the Blink helps him. Uses that. Here comes the Sundering, and then take down Nepsa.
The Sundering with the isolation was brilliant. Also, PkB was in a little bit of trouble. He manages to get out of that, though, because there was the extra kill there to start things off. And Odin actually falling now. He's out of the game. There's the Divine Storm, but it actually doesn't hit him a whole lot there. But they're still pushing on forwards. They had good sustain, but I don't think they can continue this on for much longer. They've taken a lot of damage.
Yeah, unfortunately for Well-Met, Hiruka didn't hit anything with the Divine Hurricane that he used there. So that was a big, big blow to their team fight potential in this case. They could have taken away more than that, but Hansops is in trouble to the left side. Oh, he gets envenomed. He's trying to move away, but he does not have the Bolt of the Storm anymore. He's trying to just escape, but he gets dropped, and that's of course extremely unfortunate. But we have a kill on Vala at the same time to the right. So very well done. Well-Met gets the counter kill, but the initiation once again against Naomi, and this time the dwarf doesn't escape.
PkD looking good. The boss also now on top of the core doing a bit of damage as Godam heard Shadowmare and Hiruka trying to clean that up, but I imagine if that Divine Storm would have done something. Imagine if it had hit people. Godam heard there's a Divine Storm to try and shut this down, but still Godam heard trying to get out and barely does. Oof, so close.
I thought for a second that he was baiting because he must have seen those heroes moving in from the left side, and he just completely ignored them. He is still alive though. They were able to keep him there. But yes, the last fight could have gone way, way better for Well-Met. But in the end, they traded 2 for 2. And in their situation, that was not a bad trade to make. Yeah. The thing is, it's still 2 keeps against 2 keeps. It's still a better position for Planetkey Dynamics, especially since we are already having quite a bit of damage on the core for Well-Met. But the game isn't over.
No, they're going to try and get this back. It's going to take them a long time with these two pushing, and it's going to be a trip, though, so they're going to be cursed.
Exactly. There's going to be a curse, and I don't think that they will be able to move in for that and defend. So they have to suffer another curse, and that might be a bit too much. That might just be enough to push them over the edge.
Yeah, the top keep is even very low, regardless of the idea of a curse pushing that down. Planetkey Dynamics really extending themselves a very strong lead here. And it's going to take a minor miracle for Well Met to pull this back. They've got a lot of minion camps pushing in on their position as well, and that makes it all the faster when these lanes are pushing hard. The
big problem is just simply that if you lose all your keeps, those lanes are going to push in so hard that no matter where you go and try to just de-push or like go aggressive on your opponent, that you will always suffer losses on the other lane. And once those catapults get close enough to your core, you're gonna lose core health, and that is something that they just can't afford anymore.
No, not at all. Somehow need to clean all of this up, and now with every lane pushing very, very hard, we're seeing Planetkey Dynamics still take this pretty slow, as taking down the rest of the towers, and it's only the core left now. Only the core left for Well Met. Level 22 to 21, and they're even just going to take this hard camp at the back as well, whilst all these lanes push.
There's no downside. They just can take all of the remaining mercenary camps on the map, and that's only the hard camp that they see here. So they steal it away from the opponent, start to push in. The curse is over, but the last keep is down, and it's really about that next team fight. We still have most of the keeps alive for Planetkey Dynamics, and they're going to try to do the same thing they've been trying the past 5 minutes. They're going to lay another trap, try to initiate with Judgment, and snipe one hero before they go into the fight itself.
Yeah, Well Met moving out now. This might be a little bit obvious. Nomi's actually going to be able to spot Invidium on that left-hand side. There goes Judgment onto Gerdam Hurt. He's taking a lot of damage. That's right on top of him. He ends up falling. The Divine Storm doesn't really get too much there once again either, Khaldor.
And there comes the polymorph against Siruka, and with the overkill he goes down as PkD jumps in as well. Hazops is already low, and down goes the third hero. Reyna is killed, and this looks like it might be the end. Shadowmar about to die. He takes Nepsa with him, but now it's only Nomi. It's only the dwarf that is still alive. He dodges the Howling Blast, but this core is gonna drop.
Yeah, not enough damage from Nomi here to be able to stop the 4 push from them towards this keep, and that's gonna be it here for Well Met in game number 2. Planetkey Dynamics, wow. Once they took the lead in the mid, they really never gave it away. It was very, very impressive. I mean, look at the map. Totally blue. Totally blue.
Very well played here. And GG as Planetkey Dynamics takes game number 2, ties the series up. And we're going to go into game number 3 here at the ESL Majors in a second. Both teams are going up against each other blow for blow. Well Met winning on Sky Temple, and then immediately afterwards Planetkey Dynamics taking Cursed Hollow. This is of course the 3rd game that we're going to watch right now, and we are on Dragonshire, the final map in the best of 3 series here at the ESL Masters, to find out which team is going to take that leap in the league on this first play day and establish itself at the top of the ranks. We are on game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. It is Dragonshire. Well Met is facing Planetkey Dynamics here at the ESL Majors, and as you can see, we have to the left side of the map once again PkD with BKB on Tyrael in this 3rd game. Nepsa is playing Uther. We are seeing Individuum on Malfurion, Antihero on Mirrodin, and Fury on Vala. So the double healer lineup for PkD. To the right side of the map, it is Well Met with Get Amherd on Azebo, Nomi on Arthas, Hiruka playing Brightwing, and Shadowmar, the sub for Soccer, is playing Tacita. Hazu Ops on Sergeant Hammer right now. I'm Khaldor, with me is Kalaris, and we're going to bring you game number 3 at the ESL Masters between PkD and Well Met.
And here come the splits. As I was saying before, that Nazebo, he loves that bot lane. The zombie wall down here can be utterly lethal if you're not able to react in time. So they're going to position themselves well to start things off. With Huey coming into support as well here, as Malfurion and Uther are down here too.
This is already a great game. Like, first of all, we're having a switch. Get Amherd is not playing Hammer. It's Hazops, and I think it's because Get Amherd has probably the better Nazebo, and Hazops just said, listen, I'm way more comfortable with a Hammer than I'm with Nazebo, and then they switched the heroes around here. And also, as already, oh nice, Good attempt here by PkD. But as I said earlier, with all that stun that we're currently seeing from PkD, it has indeed an effect on the level 1 talent choice for Sergeant Hammer. We are seeing Resistant being used here. So great talent to mitigate that problem with a lockdown.
Yeah, that's very, very nice choice by Hammer here. Should help quite a bit. And there's already the lockdown occurring. Hasuops is going to have to get him out of there. Gets very, very low. But just not the extra follow-up there from PkD to really get a full kill early on. If they did, that would be a very nice start considering the shrines just came alive. But that's not the case.
God, I'm loving this game already. This is great. This is a great match. We have the 3rd game in the best of 3 series. This is how it all starts with this best of 3 for both of those teams in the ESL Majors. And they are really fighting for it right now. The 3rd game and the lineup that we are seeing for Planetkey Dynamics is just like great. These 3 frontliners that put so much pressure in. There's so much pressure, especially on Vala now, to dish out damage. Now that she's shielded, she's the only range DPS for her team.
Yeah, she's going to have to do a lot of work. Definitely a lot of work during all of this. Already going pretty hell for leather on Hasuops each time these engagements come in. The combination of the root with the damage that you can output there from her is very, very nice. Straight onto Sergeant Hammer once all of that goes down. But these 2 shrines have still been contested for a while, and unfortunately, Muradin can't shake off Tassadar. It's going to take a little while in mid before that can ever occur.
Yeah, Muradin and Tassadar in the middle still going for a battle. We have both of those shrines, of course, still under control of PkD. They're doing very well with that. The bot lane is currently controlled by them, and they're pushing this in once again. Hasuops and also the opponents all picking up the level 4 talent. As long as Tassadar is fine in the mid lane, you're all good. You don't need to feel too much pressure, but it's of course the problem when one of those heroes starts to rotate, and apparently Wellmet agrees. They're saying like, yep, we don't really want to have Tassadar under this much pressure the entire game. We're just jumping up to the top with Hiruka, using the phase shift, using the mobility. That's why we picked Brightwing in the first place. So let's put him to some use.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's very, very good use of him. Hasuops, once again, though, forced to actually Hearthstone back out because of the combination that we're seeing at the bottom. So much root, so much stun from these 2 supports. And it's really giving Huey the time of his life, basically. He has a lot of room down here, despite the idea of Nazeebo being in this location. We've seen the zombie wall go down once in between that bush and location, but they may even get themselves a tower to start things off.
Yeah, they're trying, certainly. Hasuops is there, and in comes Brightwing trying to help out. With the talents on 4, of course, another thing that I really want to point out quickly is that we have 1 healing ward per team and also 1 protective shield, so a bit of burst damage mitigation and then the heal for against the AoE spells. Brightwing is already using his bribe to get the first Siege Giant camp in there, and for Tyrael we have on level 4 the amplified healing, since he is kind of one of the important frontliners, and of course the hero that wants to initiate to jump in, so he really needs to have the option to stay alive a bit longer if he's suddenly surrounded by opponents.
A long drawn-out fight between BKB and Nomi up at the top results in Brightwing coming to the support, and neither will die from there on out. It was close, though. It was close. It takes a while for them to kill each other off, but it was close. So we're going to head back down to bot now, as this fight will continue on. Neither team just yet really solidifying good position on 2 shrines, especially ever since there was that assist up at top from Brightwing.
A slight advantage in experience thanks to the tower kill down at the bot lane, and once again that healing ward playing a huge role here. Shadowmire is starting to rotate in with the storm, just putting some additional damage on the heroes, but he is welcomed by anti-hero. Shadowmire moving away, Muradin still lurking in the area. And Gadamherd is also moving back, needs to just like get some additional hit points and also of course mana back.
Yeah, the sustain in the bottom lane for PkD has been really working wonders, because they've been able to just push every time it's a 2-on-3 situation or even a 1-on-3 situation after they've landed the roots, the stuns, and then into a little bit more damage on this lane. So the 3v3 situation right now, I really love the combination there from Planetkey Dynamics.
Yeah, and you can really feel the respect. Oh, there comes the jump in and the stun against Hasuops. He gets away. The level 1 talent, of course, playing a role here too. But you can really feel the respect of Wellmet of this comp. They know that it's very difficult to drop them, and they're just like biding their time, waiting for later stages of the game where they have their level 10 so that they can finally use those heroic abilities to get some additional damage in.
And level 10's coming in pretty soon here for PkD. Likewise, though, Wellmet not too behind in terms of that. Well on their heels. They've always had someone in bot lane trying to rival this, but there's the level 10. Are they actually going to go for a fight here? They're a little bit low. It's going to be hard at bottom lane to go for a proper fight with all of this.
Okay, now the level 10 Zion, and now we have some stuff to really talk about here. We were already like theorizing a little bit before the match started what would happen with Malfurion. Does he go for Tranquility to mitigate the annihilating spirit damage or the Ravenous spirit damage? Doesn't really do that. Instead, he goes for the second option that we pointed out in the draft. He goes for Silence. He wants to have that Silence. That's of course also getting extremely dangerous once you hit level 20, since he can pick up the Bolt of the Storm, just blink into the opponent's team, silence real quickly, shift Q that, and that can destroy an entire team comp. A second question has also been answered. What is Vala going to do? With that front line, she doesn't necessarily need the additional stun, but in this case she still picked up Rain of Vengeance. We do not see Stray for the additional damage, when here comes the immediate follow-up! Exactly what we talked about earlier! Root stun into Rain of Vengeance, and Fury gets his first kill.
Even a little bit of damage brought in by Twilight Dream there as well. He just popped at the very end of that health, so it was quite a lot of damage coming out very, very quickly. Good little orchestration there by PkD to get that kill as they did, and that frees up bottom lane very, very well for them. They could even try and rotate and maybe go for the top to see if they could get something from that, but at this stage, when the respawn timers are low, it is difficult.
Yeah, you know, that kill did not really do too much in terms of experience, because Nomi was at the top lane and apparently forced his opponent back. Tyrael moved back to well up, and that's why they lost a bit of experience. So we still have both teams roughly on the same level when it comes to EXP, with a slight advantage even to Well-Met.
Yep, Hasu just going to push on forwards here with the assistance of Shadowmare, but there's just a bit too much sustain there from the two supports to help that out. But they've managed to get double Shrine. They're going to leave two bottom here, Gerdheim, Herd and Hiroka, to deal with that, and then maybe try and push BKB back, but well, it's going to be a difficult...
Yeah, they see him already, pushing him in once, twice. Of course, a big role plays that Bribe talent on Brightwing, who is able to get those Siege Giants just into play over and over again to push or put more pressure onto that bottom lane and force these three heroes a bit farther back.
Yeah, they managed to get the Shrine down at bot, though, back, so no Dragon Knight coming in just yet, as Brightwing was up at the top as well, trying to contest that Shrine. Teleporting on around. So Shadowmare abandoned the idea of middle.
We already have now the next talent taken, and in this case it is Frost Shot on Vala. Vala already picking that up. You can also see Sprint on Uther. So once again we have that Sprint talent that enables him to just like rush in and then try to get his team stun off. So another good option for them to initiate later on, besides the Tyrael initiation.
Arthas is finding a little bit of room up at top to actually get that wall down, which is nice, with the assistance of Brightwing every so often helping out. So again, Hiroka really kind of, for me, keeping Well-Met in a good position in terms of the experience, because with the kills that have happened at bottom, it could have gone a little bit worse for them, but it's certainly helping out quite well with that global presence.
Level 13 gives Well-Met now also additional CC with Polymorph and Rewind for the double Polymorph that we see. So, yeah, sorry, the Shrink Ray I meant on Tacita and the Polymorph, there we go. So, both of them, very, very strong talents to have. The escape mechanism on the Zebo with Sprint is also important, not so much something to initiate as we see on Uther, but this is more like his only escape mechanism that he can use later in the game.
PKB's plans of trying to jump in at the bottom lane were rumbled by Tassadar, who finally realizes, well, where have you been? Where did you go from mid lane? And finally does know that. But bot lane was able to sniff that out as well once he'd actually disappeared.
But you can really see, I mean, we are like 10 minutes in already, and there is still only one kill on the board, not a single Dragon Knight taken. It's just both of them playing very, very passive, like dancing around each other, trying to feel each other out, waiting for an opportunity to get that kill in, to get an advantage, drop a hero, and capitalize on the death timer to get enough time in, drop both of the shrines, and then go for the DK here. So really intense match.
Yeah, level 15 apiece at this 10-minute mark, and as you said, no Dragon Knight taken. They're looking to maybe spring a trap on Nomi up to the top, who is going to try and challenge Muradin on that location, but just fling himself in there, but Nomi's going to get out. Too much ability to survive. That
talent on 13 on Tyrael, that cast aside is so annoying, by the way. Yeah. Now we have a hard camp taken by Hiroka to the right side, and that is going to put some pressure on PkD, and well, that's exactly what Well-Met needed to do here, since PkD controls both of the shrines now, so pressure is needed against them. Oh, the initiation down at the bottom against Hazorps, and immediately the root, but a bit too late and out of position. That attempt by Vala to use her Rain of Vengeance to go get her opponent in the stun lock. So they get away, and now a couple of the heroic abilities are already in cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, Hasu reacted pretty fast, well, but actually also going a little bit too far at the end.
The problem that he had was that his thrusters were in cooldown already, and there's just no escape then.
Yeah, from the previous engagement, he was able to use them. So anyway, he does end up falling, and that's 30 seconds worth that he's down now. This is an opportunity for them to start rivaling that top shrine now, still holding on to the bottom one, and maybe even getting themselves Dragon Knight.
Yep, and also now the 16 talent for both of the teams, and that leads us once again into Executioner for Vala. We have Stone Form for Muradin, which makes him very tanky. Blood for Blood on Tyrael as expected. Oh, they're trying to jump into Vidum, and he's extremely low, goes down. That was exactly the kill that they needed here.
Yeah, definitely. Brightwing came in at just the right time on top of Nomi. At the same time, though, big engagement going to go down. Nipsey was caught on the other side of this, and they will get a Divine Storm on top of Nomi as well as Haruka. Has to get out of there, though, as the Ravening Spirit was doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, and pushing everybody back, so really well done in this case by Gedamherd, making sure that he can zone the opponents out. Now they control the middle still. If they would have lost this fight here, then it would have gone all to hell, because that would have meant Dragon Knight for PkD. Anti-Hero is still trying to sneak it in, but now the shrines have been taken, and with them, with Muradin still, Malfurion still down. They're of course trying to grab that now, and Gedamherd is already there, and they're gonna get it.
Yeah, nothing to be able to challenge that. Wilmette pick it up on a really nice little turnaround there, considering the position that PkD were in just about a minute ago with both shrines, and the opportunity with Sergeant Hammer having gone. But they are pressing their advantage here, a little bit, but they're going to take it a bit slower. Hasuob's just moving slightly into range, trying to get some of these little picks off.
Yeah, usually with those early Dragon Knights you want to make sure that you still soak the other lanes. In this case we're looking at level 17 already when the first Dragon Knight hits, so we are long past that phase in the game, and Gedamherd is trying in, and that extra damage against structures on the Dragon Knight is really coming through. Hits that Battle Axe 3 times over the fort, and it is down.
Yeah, and there was an attempt at pushing away Tyrael just before, but he kind of unfortunately got a little bit stuck on that fort. But if you were going to push someone away, that's my choice, because you certainly don't want him counter-initiating on top of Hasuob's with his Judgment or anything like that. And for now, going to have to pull on back with that Dragon Knight almost low.
And one of the things that's of course always amazing when you're running with a Dragon Knight is if right behind you is a Sergeant Hammer to add additional damage through the Napalm. But they are trying to initiate in against Nomi once again. He's trying to escape here. Here comes the Army of the Dead, and in the back Gedamherd using his heroic ability, but it's interrupted already by Vala with a Rain of Vengeance. Gedamherd using his sprint and gets away for now.
Very, very well done. Good escape there. Vala was on his tail, but the zombie wall actually zoned him out a little bit. The sustain from both of these teams, neither team losing a single player during that. But Anti-Hero's not done. He jumps back on in to try and go for the aggression.
And Hasuobs needs to move away for now. Individuum is already way back at the front. Fuel from the side with another multi-shot trying to slow them down. Cast aside on Tyrael being used. Hiruka running away to the top, but he's not going to make it. He goes down, sacrifices himself for the good of the team, and all the other players surviving and welling up at the fort.
That multi-shot with Frost Shot being talented, hitting all 4 of them as they're trying to run away, was brutal for them to deal with, and they did end up losing at least one person. Well played, though, for them only losing 1 during that situation, as they managed to keep a little bit of normality going on here.
Disengaging against a good Vala player can be absolutely annoying. You just have to go in for just once, and that extra talent on 1 gives you the range that you need for it. Then, of course, you have Tyrael with Cast aside as well, who tried to just move Arthas back in that situation. He survived, but you could really see how it affected Brightwing, and at some point you just decided, alright, I have to go up to the top. With something like Blink Heal as the heroic ability, he could have maybe changed it here, but he already used his ultimate earlier with the Emerald Wind and didn't have a chance to disengage.
PkD a little bit separated from one another at this point, as they were trying to take hard camp at the bot, so don't want to be taking an engagement just yet, falling back to the safety of this wall, and decided to abandon the bottom hard camp. It would have been difficult for them to continue on with that, considering Wilmette's position.
Yeah, the one thing that's always nice if only Brightwing dies is that as soon as he's back to life, he can jump in again. That saves you a few precious seconds. He's in this case actually at the top lane capturing the shrine and can then jump down to the rest of the team. And that shows again the importance of Brightwing on a map like this, because not only do they capture the top shrine, but if he jumps down after he's taking even a bit more experience right now, he forces PkD in that awkward spot where they have to fight a 5 versus 5, and they know perfectly well if they lose a hero, they will lose Shrine and Dragon Knight.
Yeah. And also it allows Haruka here just to have a little bit of extra support to this push up at top. Might get a 4 from here.
That push! That little push there to waves and the Knights.
Well, looks like they may end up losing a 4 down a bot here, my well met, as the engagement's going to end up occurring. Actually, Brightwing popped Emerald Wind very, very quickly there to try and push them off.
Yeah, Gadam had immediately with Annihilating Spirit as well, but didn't get too much damage in because Muradin reacted immediately. Anti-Hero was there, but they pushed them back, and BKB is very low. Brightwing by now is also with the team, and they have the experience lead thanks to the push at top, and they will hit the 20 faster. And as we already pointed out earlier, now they're going for the bottom shrine. Muradin already going straight to the top because he wants to avoid that double shrine by well met, since that would lead inevitably into another Dragon Knight.
Yeah, it would. But it was perfect that you were pointing out the benefits of Brightwing whilst all that was going on. That was very nifty. But that's going to get cleaned up at the top, thankfully, for Valor, whilst their bottom wall gets pushed on in. And, you know, we're almost nearing that 20, level 20, where well met currently in the lead in terms of that experience. So thanks to that little push at top, actually.
Yeah. This is really what makes Brightwing such a great hero here. It was actually one of the advantages that you had with Abathur for a long time in the last patch before Blizzard changed him. You could just soak 2 lanes with him easily, and now you can't really do that. Well, you can still do that anymore, but just the changes to Heroic ability made Abathur a lot weaker and not part of the competitive meta anymore. But the mid lane is now contested, as we are seeing again an attempt for Dragon Knight. In this case, it's actually PkD. But Arthur's was just a bit faster. Nomi at the top lane, capturing the shrine and saving his team the trouble.
Yeah, good reactions there by Nomi to head up there whilst all the fighting, etc. was down here at the bot. And they're going to pick up their easy camp and allow that to push on down the south. But at the same time, we're going to see PkD do exactly the same thing. So those lanes should be able to equalize out down there while soaking up... but there we go, there's the level 20 coming out here from Wellmet.
Yeah, level 20, Advanced Lava Strike is an amazing talent. Blink on Azebo, not even going for the Ravenous Spirit because he's just saying, or for the Annihilating Spirit, because he's just simply saying, I need the extra survivability.
Yeah. Makes total sense. Makes total sense against a team like this when there's so much potential for them to jump on top of you. Nomi now with Brightwing getting teleported all the way down here. This fort is surely gonna fall. And again, it's a nice little pickup for them. All the outer forts have been taken here now for Wellmet.
Yeah, and there comes now also the Bolt of the Storm on Malfurion, now that PkD reached level 20. So that bolt in with a shift Q on the Silence is extremely dangerous. They need to make sure that they spread at least a bit. Vala, by the way, going straight for the Storm of Vengeance. Not even going for the bolt. Oh, and here comes the stun against Hazops. He's already shielded. The first healing ward is already down. Here comes that Silence and the stun against everybody.
The combination of Silence and Stun did so much work. Hiroka, though, with the Emerald Dream, Emerald Wind, trying to keep on out of there. But Muradin's going to end up falling. Brightwing falls as well. Very low. Had to stay in the fight. Really wanted to keep everyone alive. BKB going very low as well. And Wellmet will be able to take him out. Fala just barely escaping during that as well.
Wow. Really well done by Wellmet here. Great moves by them. And that was extremely strong, especially by Tassadar, making sure that his shields hit in the right time to keep those heroes alive. Malfurion nearly instantly died. I mean, he got his Silence off, which was the big part here, but that Storm comp didn't really do as much damage or lockdown as they were hoping for. And then Wellmet just kept themselves alive. Gerdam hurt also, of course, with this additional damage here. Very well played, and that backfired fast for PkD.
Yeah, it did. The initiation was so cool, but didn't play out as well as they would have liked it to. As really good reactions from Wellmet. Now they're going to take the top shrine here. Still quite a bit of time before everyone exactly is up on PkD. And it's difficult for them to try and delay in mid, because if they do go too far with just Valor and Otha for a while, then they may get picked off. Dragon Knight is going to go over to Wellmet.
Yeah, and oh, Few is already very low. And here they're moving in. I don't think they can get Vala, but look at all that damage done by Hazorbs just with that advanced lava strike. It's so tricky. He has 61,000 hero damage in this game and takes the crown so far. And they are actually going to go for core. They're not even going for a second keep. They're going bot lane. They're trying to core it.
Wow. Alright, well, there's the potential here for Dragon Knight to cause a lot of problems. They're slowly taking damage. They're actually going to jump in on Haruka, get the stun, also into the Divine Hurricane, as Arthas ends up falling so fast against that. There's the Rain of Vengeance, but it's interrupted very quickly, and difficult.
Very well done. Tyrael already low, and they're trying to move in again. Once again, they get a kill off. They're taking down Brightwing. Is there going to be a counter kill as Neps is getting very low, but he moves back just in the last second. Good job here by Haruka with that Emerald win that he was been using. I should probably say the continuous wins as we had that second wave moving in. And Gedam had already abandoning the idea of going in now. He's just saying like, alright, that idea is not going to do anything anymore. But, oh, at the bottom, look at that. Few and Antihero moving in and actually getting the kill against Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah, Hazorbs ended up falling, getting himself out of position. Now, I'm heard on the Dragon Knight is unfortunately having to dance back for quite a while. Here comes Shadowmare to support and try and get I'm heard out of there. But once Nazeebo is out of that Dragon Knight, then it's going to be up to Sprint and Blink to get out. It should be, well, he's close enough to the wall, so he should be fine. There's a Sprint.
Doesn't even use his blink, just goes straight for the sprint and says like, yeah, I won't even need that.
Yeah.
And if so, I can still use it at any point. But they have the experience lead now. They lost a lot of heroes. They didn't do as much with the Dragon Knight as they were hoping they could. They tried to go for core. Should have maybe, in hindsight, gone for the keep and instead tried to drop one of those. It was a very good defense that we saw by PkD. And in kills, it's 7 against 5. It's a really good game that we're seeing now.
Yeah, very good. The 22-minute mark at the moment. But these two teams have propelled themselves towards the later stages of this game very fast. Few is actually very low. Might want to go back in a second just to heal up, so just in case a fight were to break out. But they know where their opponents are. They've had a good idea that their opponents are on the other side of the map, so they do feel a bit safe at this point.
58,000 damage in the game against heroes by Fuey. If you're looking at Sergeant Hammer, we are talking 73,000 by now. Nazeebo himself with 57,000 and then 54,000 on Tacita. If you look at the heal on the other hand, then you really know why this is a sustained comp that's being played by PkD here. 64,000 healing on Uther alone. In total, they have 122,000 healing right now.
It's pretty ridiculous. Pretty ridiculous.
It's twice what we see for Wilmette.
Yeah. It's difficult to actually keep up with that kind of sustain, but at the same time, you know, there have been engagements that have gone over to Wilmette that have been a bit more prolonged than I was expecting their engagements to go against a comp that can sustain so well. So at least they're able to clean up top line, and this game is going to continue on with PkD keeping this bottom lane their focus, their priority, because of those Candymans that do cause a problem.
Both of the teams are still waiting for the shrines to be up again.
Yeah.
They're trying to rotate a bit, and well, we have the attack against the fort at the bottom. There was not even an attempt to defend it just because it was already so low that well, Matt realized, okay, we're not going to keep that either anyways. But they're trying to put some pressure onto the mid lane and forcing a B back, and they're going to get that. BKB is already... No, actually, they're not. They're moving in. Okay, they realized that it was just that it was not a serious attack, but just an attempt to bait them back.
Yeah, just moving up now to top shrine. Likewise, though, we're seeing PkD want to rival that position as they move all the way up to the top here. Have been spotted, though.
Yeah, and here we go, BKB. Oh, the lockdown against Anti-Hero. Here comes the Storm. And the initiation straight against Gnome. Oh, this is not looking good for Planetkey Dynamics. Not at all. Neps is very low. They're all trying to run away. Great engagement for Wilmette so far.
Twilight Archon going to continue powering on forwards for Shadowmare there as Hazorbs is in the pursuit. Invidium has to get out of there. BKB so low. Nazeebo chasing and even goes for the blink to continue that chase onwards. The rest of the team can't really support out too well. And the Spiders actually knocked BKB off his mount. Yeah. Oh dear me.
He's trying to get it. So far, not a single one of them died. They're all getting away. They're all trying to escape. Your only individual is very low now. Does Nomi get into the Howling Blast, and he's getting slowed by the Frost Shot. They can all escape, but Wilmette should push in and take that keep. They have a chance, but everybody welled up already. So they're just turning things around. Can PkD turn this? Wilmette, did they miss that chance here?
If we said it once, we said it 1,000 times. It's the sustain, man. The sustain. I can't believe they all survived. I mean, even when BKB was separated away from the group, he was able to survive.
Yeah.
There was a slight hesitation, actually, from Nazeebo, whether he didn't realize that the spiders were going to knock him off. I think he could have probably got the kill, but it would have been a fine line to walk. You
know, one of the problems that you have with this comp is that the caster side from Tyrael is always interfere with the Rain of Vengeance that we're seeing from Vala. I'm not sure if that really came into play in this, but I think I saw one of the heroes just pushed out of that stun effect. And they didn't really lock that up as well as they wanted to, and suddenly Well-Met was in a position to turn things around. And with all that damage coming in, you could see so many of the heroes, especially Uther, drop so fast that they just had to get out of there. And they could have lost 2 or 3 heroes in this fight.
We saw PkD trying to set up a little bit of a bait down towards the shrine, but they were already revealed during all of that, so keeping good eyes and good tabs on things with Oracle was Tassadar. And they got to be very, very careful about how they take this fight. Once again, one slip-up could cost them the entire game at this point, with bot lane being so far pushed.
Muradin tries to come in from the top. He's moving in already. Here comes the stun. BKB is already going in, going straight for. And this time the setup works. It works perfectly. They drop Hazorbs on the hammer. The turnaround. Nepsis being attacked by Nomi, who goes in with the Army of the Dead. But he's already stunned out as well. BKB is once again low, and Fury moving in from the top, trying to get his Frosters in to slow them down. BKB is solo, but they kill Vala first.
Oh, and that means a lot of the damage has been taken away from this composition. So PkD are actually going to back off for a little bit. Without Valor, it's very difficult, but Shadowmare so low at the very front of that. BKB jumps in to try and go for the pursuit, but Shadowmare is already out of that position. Oh, and there's the double jump from Anti-Hero on top of him.
Great move by Anti-Hero with a rewind. He just jumps in like a bunny once, twice, and takes down Shadowmare with a bolt.
That was pretty special. That was pretty special. But it all goes back to the start of that fight, where I don't really think they were expecting Valor as well as extra stuns to be coming around the top angle there. So
they definitely didn't.
Yeah, Hammer getting caught out was a little bit of a blow, but at least they were able to kill Valor during all of that at the end.
Yeah, they got Vala and got at least 1 kill, but still, that was a very good move. And of course, now this is going to be a potential Dragon Knight. Well, Gaiadomhead is actually trying to deny that, and he's gonna get that, but both shrines belong now to the opponent, so you need to be extremely careful how you tread from now on. They need some hero, one hero, probably Brightwing, who's gonna go to one of the lanes and try to counter that. But it seems like he has to move back into the mid lane to help out, because there's a huge fight coming in.
Oh, Nomi is in a very treacherous position at the moment, as they do jump right on top of him with Judgment after a few stuns that have already gone down, but at least he's got his ghouls there for a little bit of sustain whilst the rest of his team gets there. So the focus, yes, of course, he was in a good position for them to try and bring down, but at the same time it did buy time because Arthas is so tanky.
Gaiadomhead did have to blink away, blinked into the Bruiser camp to the right side, and had to walk all the way around that just to make sure that he would stay alive. So going for the safe play here. Level 24 for them already. Brightwing moving down to the bottom lane, and yep, that gives them a bit of room to breathe at last.
Yeah. Eventually Brightwing going back quite quickly. Fury and BKB looking to challenge that shrine down to the south. They've already got the top one. It's not going to be taken anytime soon because everyone is navigating their way down to bottom. Anti-Hero takes a bit of damage from those storms to start things off.
Once again, the initiation with the Howling Blast. Nomi missing it since Fury vaults back to safety. Anti-Hero is at the front line trying to look for that opportunity to stun somebody out. There comes the caster side. Gaiadomhead with a quick blink getting back to the rest of his team.
Yep, and it's just going to be slow once again. Unless we can see PkD get a good initiation on an angle less expected here by Well-Met, then it could be fine. But again, with the opportunity for Well-Met to have Oracle on their side with Tassadar, if it's off cooldown, it's going to be difficult to find those extra little sneaky angles from PkD.
What Well-Met does really well is that they always have some camps going for them that put additional pressure onto PkD. They just had to defend that top lane. They are already exposed in the mid lane. That fort or the keep is nearly gone. Just one advanced lava strike and it will die. So there's a lot of pressure on them since we even have 2 forts still alive for Well-Met.
It's true. Yeah, that was a big chunk of experience that they've actually made up elsewhere with their presence in lanes, etc., as well as a few kills. But Well, with Brightwing having died 4 times, that's where all that experience has come from.
Yeah, did you see the top of Brightwing was moving in to capture a shrine? Cheryl comes around the corner, and Hiruk is just like, oh shit, speeds himself up and just runs away immediately. He was very much afraid that he would die again there.
Well, yeah. Yeah, got to be careful, that's for sure. If you die at this stage of the game, then it could be the complete turnaround, especially if you're as a support in Brightwing. Very useful. Howling Blast going to check the bush. They're not there as 4 of them are in the middle of lane. PkD going very low, but all the healing is going to keep him well and truly alive against all of this.
Yeah, the longer the setup for the fight lasts, the better for Well Met, thanks to the tank. Oh, they're about to take down Nepsa, the initiation against Hazorps, but down goes Brightwing. Nepsa survives, I don't know how, but he did. Hazorps says, oh my god, he moves in from the side and takes him on. Hazorps never forgets, he's like an elephant, he knows exactly where the opponent was and takes him on. Suddenly it's a 2-for-1, and this means Dragon Knight Nomi is grabbing it, and this has to be game, Galarius.
Yeah, very difficult to recover from this point, especially with the lack of support that they have. They lost both of their supports. So how are they going to be able to out-sustain this position? Of course, Brightwing is down, but against a Dragon Knight here, very little healing is left available to them. BKB is going to have to jump in out of desperation. Valor got very low, get pushed back, and the core is going to end up falling.
GG, and Well Met takes the best of 3 at the ESL Majors with a 2-1 against Planetkey Dynamics. Congratulations, and well played by Well Met.